Hi there, Joseph Carabas here. Recording is in progress. Little Zoom lady is on the job. We're listening to Eric Clapton because why wouldn't you? We have a bunch of turkeys outside. We have quite the flock. Uh, I think I've mentioned a few times that we have woodlands out back. So we have deer, bear, coyote, raccoon, possum, skunk, you name it, it comes through. We expect ice to show up at any moment. Doesn't that date this video? But we do have a bunch of turkeys. And in turkey mythology, Susan, beloved wife, partner, and princess, right over there, is the food giver. She routinely puts out seeds for the birds. And the turkeys have said, "What? There are seeds there? My God, what a good person she must be. Let us go and rejoice in the gifts she gives us." So they're out there now. How many turkeys do we have, Dave?
13.
We had 13 today. We had quite a bit before. I think one day we had 18.
18, 5 were Toms.
5 were Toms. 5 were, that's a party you got going there. Okay, what is today's experiment about? Turkeys. No, it's about genre Schmenre. And the reason this has been on my mind for a while because genre is really good for marketing and, in my opinion, really crap for writing. And I know there are people who they write mysteries. One of my best friends, best author friends, Donna Houston Murray, God love her, read her, she's really good. She writes cozy mysteries and now she's branching into thrillers, and that's her genre. Dale Phillips, another good author friend, he writes mysteries, very specific geographic or location slanted, and they take place, many of them anyway, take place in Portland, Maine, which adds a very distinct regional flavor to them. And that's great. I read Donna's stuff, and Donna's writing is unique. I hear her. Granted, I've talked with her many times. I've known her for years, but I hear Donna in her writing. I hear Dale. I've known Dale for many years. I hear Dale in his writing. I don't know of many authors whose voice, whether I know them or not, whose voice, their author voice, the way they write, their brand, if you will, because that's what your author's voice is. That's your brand. Is so buried in the genre that it doesn't stand out. I've been aware that I am a genre because my regular readers tell me your genre is Joseph. Every time they see something, doesn't matter if my name's on it, they can tell that I wrote it. Take that, AI. So I realize the value of genre in the sense of where does this book go on a shelf for marketing purposes? It's a cozy mystery. It's a sci-fi thriller. It's a military this or that. The challenge to genre writing, and if you can do genre writing, great. I'm going to offer that if you're able to do repeated genre writing, you're probably doing plot work. You're probably not doing character, with the exception of Craig Johnson. I have to admit, Craig Johnson's Longmire series, with the exception of one book, that's Shakespeare in the Rockies. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. And all that recognized and noted. unless you're writing like Dan Brown, um, and I will not disparage his success, but I will say that to me, his books are boring um, because they're so highly plot driven that the plot overtakes the character and overtakes the development of what's going on in the story, the relationships between the characters, and that's where I live. I prefer to write character-driven stories. Feel free to disagree if you're a regular reader, or if you're an irregular reader. And if you're irregular, there are medications for that. Sorry. Right. As I really, if you're writing genre, great. And let's take myself as an example. I've written military sci-fi thriller. I've written what some would call metaphysical, spiritual, magic realism. I think I write science fantasy because I'm in my 70s now. So I've worked for 50 years, plus better than 50 years in that borderland where really advanced science seems like fantasy, and yet we can actually figure out the rules, the laws, the structure of magic, if you will, and make magic, what would as little as 100 years ago be considered an incantation, we can now actually reproduce it. That's the structure of magic. So I've been working in those fields in that area for so long. That's where I write. I also know that my author voice, I have a very distinct way that I put sentences together. I make use of alliteration a lot. I make use of metaphor and simile that is in the language, if you will, of the character who's on stage, who owns that part of the story. So, for example, if the character who's on stage is a truck driver, like a high school educated truck driver, then the similes and metaphors are things that he or she would use. They're not things that someone with advanced PhDs would use. However, if someone is, a world-class neuroscientist, yeah, they're going to use similes and metaphors that are specific to their language, their environment, their ethos, their way of thinking. And I think any good writer, any competent writer would do that. It's not my claim that I'm good or competent. I'm merely saying that's what I think a good author should do. That's why I work towards it. Let's get back to genre Schmenre. The first story that I ever sold, I thought was a perfect Twilight Zone O. Henry story. Classic Twilight Zone, Rod Serling Twilight Zone, because I got gray in my beard. Nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted it. I did actually end up selling it. Who did I sell it to? Child Life. They thought it was a brilliant children's story. Really? Okay. That one story that nobody wanted has been anthologized several times. It's a funny thing about my work. When it's brand new and I send it out, I can't play. I have difficulty placing it. And yet once it's placed, it gets anthologized 5 or 6 or 7 times. I've had one thing that's been anthologized 10 times. And in different genre magazines and anthologies, which, did you guys know that this story was actually a children's story? No, that's actually a brilliant sci-fi political story. Okay, yeah, it is, definitely. So when it all comes down to it, as I've often said, write what thrills you, write what captures your imagination, write what you find interesting and love. You can write specifically to a genre. Dale does, Donna does, and I know several authors who do. Um, but the authors I know who do that really write stories which interest and intrigue them and call to them, pull their inner joy out. Um, and those stories really shine. They really sing. You have to read them. They're good. They keep you going. People who just write a genre because that's what they're writing, they're number one, they're not that well written. Number two, they're so plot driven, they're predictable, which is what a lot of people like. I understand that. A lot of people love predictable storylines. I don't. I like to be surprised. I like to be able to read it. And this is one thing that my readers tell me as well. The ones who regularly read my stuff, they go, they've gotten so used to my writing that, okay, that didn't, he kind of hid that point. That's going to show up somewhere. That's going to be important. And yes, that's what I do. I put something as a little aside over here, but it's going to be damned important over there. And that's what I like. I like that when I read it. I like it when I'm reading a story and go, that's kind of a unique little thing that just got dropped in there. Where's that going to show up? Oh, there you go. That's good. I especially like, and I mentioned this before, the ones where I sit back and go, didn't see that one coming, but it was obviously in there because it didn't throw me out of the story, which a bad plot point can do. The novel Beast by John Crowley had a plot point towards the end, which literally stopped me dead because I went, where did this come from? What the hell is this doing in here? Well, it was in there because John Crowley, competent author, needed it to end the story, to fix the story so it could end. What? No, I would have gone personally, and I'm not John Crowley, maybe this is why. I would have gone back and fixed it. I would have done the work to make sure that was necessary. Wouldn't have taken too long. Come on, John, you can do better than that. Genre Schmenre, write what you love, write what's inside of you. And I don't mean put your heart on the page, because a lot of authors will tell you to do that. We do not use ink, we use blood on the page when we write, because that's what's good for. Somebody will pick it up. If it's good writing, if the writing is well done, competent, and you have a good story to tell and you tell it well, somebody will pick it up. Edgar Rice Burroughs supposedly wrote genre. He wrote a bunch of stuff. Read his stuff. Excuse me. Read the Tarzan series. Read the John Carter series. Read the Pellucidar series. He was a truly competent writer. He was really good at writing. And I think, especially at the time, that's what carried his work. That's why he got as much publication as he did. Yes, they were interesting stories. Yes, they could be easily serialized. But also, they were just damn good stories. Make your stories damn good stories. You'll get published. Don't worry about genre. Write what you got. If it fits a genre, good. If it doesn't, find the genre it does fit and send it out. Okay, he's going to look for the off button. There it is. Bye-bye.